Hello, my name is Lyneia, and I just want to do a quick video to go ahead and wrap up all the lessons that we've put together so far. Um, the reason that we are doing this, my partner Amy and I, we are doing an online curriculum for one of the classes that is going to be helping us finish up our bachelor's degree through BYU Idaho. So I currently have an associate's in marriage and family science, and this is going to be wrapping up my bachelor's degree with marriage and family science as well. So I am studying through BYU Idaho, and some of my favorite things that I've learned throughout all the courses that I've taken in school, me and Amy have decided that we wanted to start with attachment, and we wanted to work our way through the different how that affects human beings as they develop throughout their lifespan and how that develops into emotional intelligence. We picked that because, that's really the root to healthy relationships. Relationships are just a major part of life. It's a need that we have as human beings. We're social creatures, and so we tend to thrive when we're in healthy relationships, when we surround ourselves with healthy people, and when we have the skills to be able to interact with people in a way that helps us feel confident about ourselves. So I'll briefly go over what we've learned so far and then just kind of integrate that together to be able to wrap this lesson up. So we started with, so I want to kind of talk a little bit about epigenetics. So epigenetics is the study of the genes that we have within our body and how they develop through our environmental factors. So there's been, according to Standing the Gap 2023, there's been nine different temperaments that a person is born with. And so your temperaments are the core to like your personality. So as you would develop through your genes, your environment, and the temperaments that you're born with, that kind of plays a factor in how you develop. And so that is going to kind of integrate into attachment, because I feel like that's an important part of us. It's just development of human beings. So the temperaments that I'll go through it. So there's the activity level, distractibility, intensity, regularity, sensory threshold, approach, withdrawal, adaptability, persistence, and mood. And so based upon those characteristics and environmental factors and how a parent has an attachment to a child and how that child attaches to the parent, that plays a factor in development. And so that is just kind of the core to lead to attachment. And so let's see. So attachment, it really plays a factor in how the child develops and sees themselves, how the child develops and sees other relationships, how they develop relationships with other people. Like your first attachment that you develop with your parents carries over to other relationships, your siblings, everything, like your core family. And so it's important to be able to learn like different studies that have been developed that are most effective in helping children to develop. And this can just be part of your own healing journey as well. It's just recognizing your own attachment style and setting goals for yourself to be able to do things you want to improve in your social life and relationships, whether that be a significant other, whether that be friendships, whether that be relationships with your family of origin. Let's see. So we'll go ahead and move over to the, so social science, it's done with statistical studies. And so theories are created and then they're tested in populations in different ways. And so that's how, through college research, these theories are created and then they're tested in the effectiveness. There's, and so that's what kind of some of these studies are going off of. So 4 different parenting styles have been studied to been tested in populations, and authoritative has been found to be the most effective parenting style in helping children develop healthy attachment styles. And so authoritative, just kind of going off some of the characteristics of that specific parenting style, and nobody's perfect. Like nobody's going to be a perfect authoritative parent. So that just means like I kind of like to describe it as like, instead of controlling your children or instead of, just it's regulating your own emotions and being able to help be the guardrails. It's not controlling your children, it's allowing them to have enough choice and just affecting that healthy attachment and letting them learn as appropriate from health or like from natural consequences. And so it's just maintaining boundaries, but being warm and soft and allowing your children to feel like they can express their emotions and trust and talk to you. And, you know, every child's different. Some children are more difficult with the things that they're developing through than others. And there's, you know, human beings are so complex. And so it really is just not one size fits all, you know. But yeah, so developing as many characteristics of the authoritative parenting style is been found in many studies to be highly effective. And so all this kind of leads down to the last lesson, emotional intelligence. And so, you know, kind of going back to the developmental piece of like how the brain continues to develop. And I know we've touched on all these things. So if you want to get the specifics, then you can go back over the lessons and kind of read more on the specifics and even look in our references and like some of the studies that we've pulled from. You know, a lot of the studies that we've researched from has been college-based research that's been, statistically studied. And so you're welcome to look over that as well. And we've included a quiz to kind of find your own attachment style, you know. So yeah, going back to the developmental piece, the brain continues to develop. The brain continues to develop as you go into your 20s. And it's the frontal lobe that continues to develop, which, you know, as you're developing as an adolescent, as you're developing as a child, you have all these emotions on all these different parts of the brain, like hormones that are coming together. And as an adolescent, they're trying to cognitively take all those take all the neurological pieces, take all the experiences, take all of everything in and develop these core cognitive abilities to be able to regulate their own emotions, to be able to socially figure out how they interact with people, to find more about themselves, but also it continues to develop into your 20s. And so it's a lifetime process. So as you do anything cognitively, you continue to develop those emotional intelligence skills, like being able to recognize and regulate your own emotions, and then being able to work through some of the filters that maybe you've developed that help screen the way you see the world. And so that also comes into play with being in healthy relationships and being able to recognize other people's emotions and see more from their perspective based upon the things that you recognize in them. And so this is what I believe and what I've come to know as like the core to developing healthy relationships. And I hope that you've been able to find something in the material that we've come up with that helps educate you in some kind of way. Yeah, and so thank you for joining in on our presentation. And